Welcome to our rink for 2021 and 2022 season. You can see that the end product there from an aerial shot when we're out on the rink enjoying it. So that's this year's rink. So to begin with, we had to prepare our yard. It's a good thing to do. Basically, it's on a patio stone base for the most part. There is some area where it's mulch and there's a little bit of a grade that I have to deal with, but we just clean it so there's not a mold or dirt underneath the tarp that we're going to lay down. It's just nice to not have to deal with that in the spring after there's moisture sitting there for a whole season of hockey. And then you can also see our crazy dog there running around. He's pretty much a 2-year-old Eurasier. And he's a piece of work. So yeah, there's some still shots. It's fairly clean. We used a wash on it, so the next phase will be rolling out the frame. So here's where I place the frames out in basic area where they're going to be installed. It's not a rectangular rink. I've changed the outer part of it to take advantage of the area of the yard. So then I started at the corner here. I put in multiple metal plates to give it strength. The corner in particular, I put extra bracing just because that's where there's a lot of pressure and you don't want that to blow out. So I do it on the side, on the top, I'll put a plate, L bracket there, and and then work my way along, and I have the plates installed in between the sections. The sections are actually 8 foot, made out of 2x8 and 2x4, so I made an L as the frame that's connected, so it's an 8-foot L with the 2x8 screwed to the 2x4 just to give it a base to sit on, and then connect them all together. These boards I started the rink in 2013. It was just a kit. It just had foam sides, but after that I decided and came up with this design to make some boards, just the boards initially, or this frame I should say. And so these frames are roughly probably about 8 years old or so, and it's not pressure treated wood, because that was fairly expensive then even. I could only imagine now. So it's just regular wood. But what I've done is I painted it with rust paint, just a flat white, and I've maybe scraped them once during that time and repainted once. So it seems to keep the wood in pretty good shape. I do store the wood or the frame once I take it apart in the spring. I put it in the crawl space in the basement just to keep it good, so that it dries out and probably be good for quite a few seasons, because it's holding up, like I said, after 7-8 seasons, and there's not really any rotted spots. The only thing, like I said, I have to do is just repaint or scrape some paint off and touch it up, but it seems to work pretty well. So yeah, I'm going around attaching all these. I think there's about 14 sections, a couple small ones. But yeah, no, for the most part, they're 8 foot. The corners might be a little different shape just to make them reach out into that different angle. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. And of course, I'm not doing it super fast. I'm taking my time. I'm in no hurry when I'm doing this. This is usually around end of October and into November that I'll start this process. And It is quite a process getting the rink together, so as we're going to show you, but this is the first phase anyway. So we cleaned the patio stones and we're putting these frames together, the 2x8 by 2x4 and 8-foot sections. And you can see the L bracket on top that I put on the corner, and then some of those stronger on the side just to keep it from blowing out. And I haven't had any problems. Because my rink is fairly flat, it helps a lot. There's not a lot of deep sections or big grade in most parts, so it also means you don't need the thickness when you have a nice flat area of ice to make it skatable, or you don't have the sections where it's super low or super high in ice. So it's nice to have a consistent base across, so that's certainly a good thing. So you can see this is a corner, and I angle it out to take advantage of more of the yard. So like I said, it's not a rectangular shape, but the board is trimmed a little bit and made to fit there a little differently than the straight corners, the 90-degree corners. And then you can see I'm going over top of some mulch and some patio stones that are in the mulch. And of course you can see that it's a little high there, so I will have to build that up or put some lumber or something underneath that just to keep it level and to keep the tarp and everything safely within the frame. And you can see I've already put some framing underneath in that section there where the grade is a little more. So we're coming near to the end. We've got the frame almost done there, and I have a couple pieces of wood just keeping it level. I do put a string across from the one side to the other, and then a little level on it just to get that proper spacing and levelness, because that's important. As you know, if it's not level, the water will certainly fill in the spots, so we wouldn't have a nice level rink. So that's very important in creating your frame for your rink. Now I'm just going around just showing some of the plates and the parts that we made to make it a little more solid. So there's a mix of different kinds of plates and connectors that I've used, but I've used this setup for, like I said, about 8 years, and I haven't had a blowout or any problems that way. So pretty solid wood. It's not light, obviously. But it certainly works for us. And you'll see that it's very close to the house, so we actually have patio doors where we can just go right out onto the rink. And next time, follow us for part 2, and we'll show you the next steps. All right, thanks.